Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Calfkicksports. I'm Ash, and today we are joined by Kate, the purple supernova Bacik, who is fighting out a great British top team in London. Firstly, Kate, how have you enjoyed the break after your last fight? Excellent performance. How's things in general?
Yeah, I've had a month of fighting, but I was still training. It was nice to kind of like train without having any pressure and like just be able to do different things. But I definitely made the most out of it.
Yeah, I saw in an interview earlier. I found this really interesting. It was with you did a little kind of video interview with Great British Top Team. I think it was over a year ago now, and you were saying, "I can't wait to be pro. It's going to be so much easier getting fights." And all the fights you've mainly been taking is just short notice. Is that something you expected going, becoming a pro?
Definitely not. So I kind of thought like the reason why I went pro as well, like I only had 2 amateur fights, and because it took me so long to even get those two fights, like that's why I was just like, you know what, I ain't got time. Like I'm not super young. I want to fight. Like, what's the point? Like the pro rule set works better for me as well. So I said, let's just fight pro. And I thought like doing that is kind of going to be a sexy way for me to get loads of fights and like to kind of have a sort of like a regular schedule and stuff. But that's definitely not what I have. And I still like a lot of pull-outs, a lot of cancellations, a lot of issues getting matched up, just waiting, like months of camp without actually having a fight happen. And then most of the fights I had were like short notice. I never really had a full camp, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, you're obviously a very dangerous fighter. You know, you started off in Muay Thai, good submission skills. Do you think it's just the skills? And you're obviously, quite a tall, big chick as well in your division. What do you think it is?
I'm not sure. It's hard for me to say, like I could come up with a million theories, but maybe it's just a few factors, aligning together. But either way, I'm always training. I'm always up to fight. So if there is an opportunity, I don't really care how much time I'm gonna get. I'm gonna be ready for it. So it is what it is. If I have to do it this way, I'll do it this way. But I'll get to where I need to get to regardless.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the fight before last, you took the fight in 2 days' notice, which is insane.
Yeah. So it was a super short notice, literally 2 days, and also like I didn't know whether it's gonna happen or not until like 5 p.m. of the day before the weigh-ins. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really want to miss out on like sparring because I had another fight booked at the time, like a month after that. So I still came and sparred. I just didn't eat and drink after, just in case I had to make weight. And then literally I finished sparring maybe like 12, and I just waited for like 5 hours for them to give me a green light. Just packed my shit, went straight to Fighters Hotel, cut a little bit of weight, boom, made weight for. Easy one.
Nice. That's crazy. So you basically knew you had a fight a couple of days before. What was the preparation? 2-day preparation before. Did you try and look at footage of your opponent? What did you have to do?
No, not at all. Not at all. I didn't have time for that. Literally, I was preparing for that other fight. So when I sparred, I still had the other fight on my mind as well. Like I didn't know if this one's gonna happen or not. So I just kind of went into it just being like, I'm just gonna win this fight. Like I don't know how. I'm just gonna scrap. Like I had no game plan. I didn't know anything about this girl. I was just like, I'm just gonna perform. I'm just gonna do what I can.
Yeah, you look phenomenal. It was a really good performance. I know you were a bit kind of disappointed that you didn't get the finish, but I thought you looked great.
No, it's funny. I literally spoke about it yesterday with someone, and I was like, in between each round, like in my breaks, I was like, I'm losing because I can't finish it. And like my coach is like, no, you're winning. You're clearly winning. But like, because I'm so used to losing decisions, like whenever it goes to decision, whether striking or grappling or MMA, like I always lose fights that I win by split decision. So I'm like, if I don't finish, I never feel like I won. I was like, insecure about that. So it's just the corner, be like, fuck, I'm losing.
It's the double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you could fight to the decision. And then, near the end, you're like, oh shit, this is actually more of a firefight than I thought it was going to be. And the guy's actually, you stole a 10-8 round from me or something. So you've been at Great British Top Team for about a year now, or over a year now.
Close to 2 years. Gonna be close to
2 years. Sorry, 2 years. What would you say is the biggest improvements you've seen in your overall MMA game? And what area in particular have you felt like you've improved the most?
Every area. If I was to be completely honest, I feel like my skills I've just improved overall. Like there's no comparison. Like being here, I've got just the right sparring partners for any fight or any even like discipline I'm fighting, like whether it's kickboxing, grappling, MMA. I can always get the right training partners, the right coaches, the right support. Like everything is just so much better here, and um, I feel like I've been in the right places, right time before. Like if I was
Yeah,
to come here sooner than I did, maybe I wouldn't benefit from it as much as I did when I came here the right time, where I already had like a solid base and I just had to like get my skills up. But yeah, I feel like definitely from wrestling to striking to grappling, like I've just gotten the right advice, the right coaches, the right support, the right guidance. And I feel like every week I'm becoming a better fighter, which is something that I wanted to do, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you train with absolute murderers. I think I'm actually so I've done the numbers, and I think I've just realized that we've interviewed probably the most amount of fighters from your gym, which
Oh,
is
really?
yeah, Alex Lahore, Simeon,
Uh,
Chanel Dyer. We've even interviewed an amateur Yvonne, and I think a lot
yeah,
of them have said that Ashley Grimshaw is he can be a very tough coach, and it's kind of the
yeah,
opposite style to Brad Pickett. So Brad Pickett's the nice one, and Ashley
yeah,
Grimshaw. My name's Ashley as well, so we can be awesome. Is he genuinely like
yeah.
that?
You see, Ash is like the biggest dickhead I know, but he's also my favorite coach. And I feel like I do need that tough love because I'm someone like I just don't listen to people. I don't listen to coaches. I do my thing. So like, if you're not being a dick to me, like I'm just not gonna listen to you. But because he is, like, it's something in me. He's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like, I'm gonna show you I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. You started off as a striker. Was it a little bit? And Chanel says the same. I think she said it. She's like, I didn't want to even do jiu-jitsu. Honestly, I just did it.
Yeah,
I
I
fucking hate
hate the
it.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
When I started from I used to say like when I got into MMA, I was like, fuck all that wrestling and grappling. Like, oh, if I punch you, kick you in the face, what are you gonna do? You ain't gonna take me down.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then like I had a little competition. My first like time I competed MMA. I didn't even train MMA at the time. I was just like, let's do it. And I got taken down. I submitted myself. Like it was so bad. I was like, right, I need to do some grappling here. And then obviously, like I couldn't really get MMA fights. I struggled to get striking fights in that time as well. So I ended up doing like bare jiu-jitsu. I promised myself I'm gonna do like a year where I just focus on grappling, and that year became 4 years, and I was actually competing at like pro level in grappling throughout that time, which definitely isn't something that I planned. And even now, like people are like, oh, your jiu-jitsu is so good, but I still don't fucking like it.
That's crazy though. That doesn't. I mean, that's so. I've trained a little bit of both, but I definitely prefer striking. I feel like jiu-jitsu is really difficult, man.
I feel like the hardest part of MMA is definitely like striking kickboxing. Like I feel like it's the most demanding, like you still get the most impact, there's the most pain, like even on
Yeah,
cardio wise, like toughness wise, is definitely the most challenging. Like grappling for me is my comfort zone. I can grapple and I don't even feel tired. Whereas with
yeah,
striking it's different kind of impact. But this is why I do MMA. I just like to mix it up. I like to have options. I don't
yeah.
like too many rules as well. So MMA obviously allows you to do a lot more than any other like discipline. So this is why it's my preferred one.
100%. Yeah, I do feel like people just kind of don't really appreciate jiu-jitsu and MMA like really that much. I mean, I had a housemate. I used to live with her, and every time I watch the UFC, she's like, "It really looks like there's two men are having sex." I'm like, "No,
That's how people watch it.
it's not that." I'm like, what are you watching? I'm like, "They're just fighting." I'm like, "Nah."
Yeah, I think when you don't understand jujitsu, it might be boring to a lot of people
Yeah,
because it's just guys rolling on the floor. What they're doing, like it doesn't make sense. Like
yeah,
even back in the day when I didn't do jiu-jitsu, I was like, the fuck is it? Just stand up and fight, you know. But once you understand jiu-jitsu, you realize how technical it is, and like you don't necessarily have to be the bigger fighter, the stronger fighter to win the fight if you're technical.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. How long? Do you know that Brandy Martin character, the 260-pound guy?
Yeah,
How long do you reckon he'll last against you? Just jiu-jitsu?
there's only one way to find out.
Gotta sort it out, man. Fix up. Do you feel like so now that you're sparring with women now? Because before Great British Top Team, I think I read that you were just sparring with men mainly. So here's my assumption, and I'm just kind of assuming things here. So I'm assuming your sparring sessions are actually tougher now with the women because the men kind of held back a little bit, maybe. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's not also that they're holding back. A lot of men that used to spar in the past, they wouldn't hold back at all, but I just get smashed. Like there would be some rounds that I'd literally be on the bottom getting crashed by someone for 5 minutes. Like, what can I do in this situation? Someone's got like 20, 30 kilos on me. Like this is not realistic. But you know, women fight differently as well. Like a lot more violent maybe, and like the pain tolerance is different. Women are a lot more flexible as well. You've got to do so much more to actually be able to like win against a woman and a guy, you know, if that makes sense. Like you really need to make them like want to give up, and women just don't want to give up. They're so tough. I had so many tough opponents where like I hear I snapped your shit, but you still want to carry on, you know what I mean? So it's different. And also like before, when I used to spar just men, a lot of things would only work for me in the fights, like stuff that would never work for me in sparring. I'd never done it before, like in real like sparring situation. And I'd go into a fight and I'd get them the double, like lift them up, like slam them. Like I've never been able to lift someone like this. So a lot of things, a lot of my frozen stuff, I've never been actually able to use them until I got into a fight. Whereas now, obviously, I have women of all sorts of different weights, like sizes, heights, styles. You know, so I can spar with them and test different things and be more technical. But we also do have a lot of flyweight and bantamweight guys, which are really sparring partners. So it's nice to have kind of both to mix it up with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm assuming with the men as well, you probably learn a little bit more technique, especially if they're quite heavy and they're on top of you as well. That's crazy. I can kind of switch up a little bit. You started off in Muay Thai. You know, you were doing amateur for a bit. How good does it feel to kind of go from amateur, not using elbows, and now you're in pro and you can use elbows whenever you want?
Yeah, I love elbows. The funny thing is, like, when I started fighting Muay Thai when I was like 17, all of my first fights that I did, they were with elbows, because where I competed, there was no classes like it is in the UK. So it's like amateur and pros, exactly the same rules, the same length of rounds, everything is the same. The only difference is you're wearing shin guards and you're wearing elbow pads. That's it. So I started off using elbows, and then I was banned from using them, and that's always been a big part of my game, like knees and elbows. So being able to do it again, as I said, works a lot better for me, like that rule said.
Yeah. What was that? So before you went into your pro fight, was it kind of like, right, I need to not get too excited and just go gun heavy with the elbows here? Did you have to kind of stop yourself?
Not really, to be honest. And also, like, there wasn't that much time between my last amateur fight and my pro debut. I think there was like 3, max 4 weeks. So I don't think that changed much. And I always, like, whenever I sparred and stuff, even an amateur, I always use my elbows anyways.
Yeah.
Because I knew I'm not training to be an amateur fighter forever. Like, the aim was always to take it pro as soon as possible. So it was more of a me stopping myself from using elbows in amateur rather than controlling it in pro, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Just changing gears, where did this nickname Queen? I mean, I know you're from South London, but you got Queen of the South. That kind of makes more sense. But then you've got Purple Supernova. Where does that come from?
So obviously, I like color purple a lot. Not wearing it today, but usually I probably wouldn't. And there's a longer story to it, but basically, Supernova is like, it's created when a star dies, and then it becomes this like beautiful, like glowing thing. So like it was years and years ago, and I still studied neuroscience, and I kind of like, I felt like spiritually and psychologically, I've become a completely different person in that time, and that's when I've become a purple supernova.
Okay. You know, I don't know if you notice, you probably do, because you know you're the Queen of the South. Got the name Queen.
Yeah.
The color purple, there was only certain people that were allowed to wear it. It was actually the color of royalty back in the day. Is that what you got the name Queen of the South?
And even in terms of like art, it was the most expensive color to use as well. Yeah, there's a lot of meaning to color purple as well. It's very like metaphysical, like meaningful color.
Okay, so you're just bougie then. No, it's a really good color, to be fair. I do love the color purple. Tell me about this Bluetooth connected spar at Great British Top Team. What's your playlist like?
So it's funny because we've got this dispute. Me and Nathaniel Wood now we're beefing over the speaker, and like
Yeah.
Nathaniel, if you're watching it, you're gonna scrap soon if you keep disconnecting my music. But I like to listen to a lot of like heavy drill, like rap. Like I'll listen to some like Afrobeat, I'm a piano stuff like that. But usually like training, if it's sparring, like I want heavy drill.
Yeah.
Like some people don't like it, but I think it just gets me in the right zone. And a lot of people can relate to that. So yeah, I need to hear like heavy drums.
Yeah, definitely. What would you? What's next? Have you got a kind of a track in mind yet that you want to come out to for your entrance song next?
So I always create like a little playlist that anything that I listen to throughout the camp that I feel like gets me going, I'll add it to it, and then like the closer the fight it gets, the more I feel like I'm leaning towards a certain tune. But I'm really bad with deciding. Like a lot of fights, I'll literally be cutting weight, and I'll be like in the bath, I'll be like, right, I really need to pick my workout tune. But some shows are very like peculiar, and they want you to like this the next fight. They want me to submit the tune like 2 weeks before the fight, so I really need to be on point with it and like do it. But
Why?
my last fight I actually missed the app because I think I submitted it too late,
Yeah.
and they made me walk out to some bullshit. I was so unhappy with that. I'm like, this is not my tune. So I'm walking out and I'm talking to the camera, being like, "Don't fuck with my music. I'm never coming back to this shit." Where are my feelings? Like, how are you gonna do that to me?
Have you seen do you remember that? It kind of reminds me of this is so funny. Do you remember when Mike? I don't know if you've seen Mike Perry coming out to.
Oh yeah. But he knew the lyrics. He still vibed to that.
I would do the same. To be fair, I'm like, fuck it, why not?
What can you do? Like my first was like, I'm not walking out to it, and Ash was like, nah, just ignore it, it's fine.
Put your headphones in at this point. I'd be like, fuck this. Put some headphones in. We ask this to all our guests here. We love this question, and we've had varying responses, in fact, as well. How do you deal with anxiety going into a fight? Do you get anxiety, or is it a thing for you?
So this is the funny thing. Like, I never really feel anything. Like, it's more of like in the camp, I'll have things to worry about. Like, I might worry about like making weight because sometimes my body will like not behave the way I want it to. I might worry about people pulling out. I might worry about all these things. But once like I made weight, I faced off, I see my opponents in the building, the cage doors open, I'm there. I feel so calm. Like I probably feel best when I'm in the cage. I'm so focused. Like I've got ADHD and like I usually cannot focus for shit. But when I'm in a cage, that's the only time when I'm like fully just zoned in and like I can hear everything clearly, I can see everything clearly. Like I don't really feel anything. It's just like I'm in the moment. Like I don't see the people, I don't see any lights, nothing bothers me. Like I'm just flowing. I feel good. It's the only place that I just feel this is where I belong. Feels like home.
It makes sense, because I've got ADHD as well. And when you've got a focus and you've got something, it's like you reach that Zen place. Other than that, your mind is just scrambled all over the place.
Low state, they call it, right?
That's crazy. So you are the third person that says I don't really get anxiety before a fight. The other person was Melinda Fabian, Karate Combat World Champion, and Sam Alvey, which is
nice.
Crazy. Three people out of I don't even know how many we've interviewed now, probably over 100.
But sometimes I feel like there's downsides to it as well, because I will have fights, but I'm not fully feeling like I'm fighting. Like it takes me some rounds or some time being in the fight to actually feel like it's a fight is happening. Like I'm in it because I'm so chilled, and like I don't feel like I don't have that adrenaline, that rush that would like make you like be in it, like be violent. I'm just like having too much fun sometimes.
Well, look, I think it's a good time to kind of give you the final question of the interview, because now I'm just a black screen and you can't even see me. But
amazing.
Okay.
So you're hiding before you ask the question. It's a good sign.
Exactly. I'm asking the hard question. But Kate, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
With UFC belts around my waist and a lot of money.
Lovely. I absolutely love it. But yeah, Kate, thank you so much for coming on the show. You're a great guest. Again, I don't know why my webcam's not working, but I'm just going to talk us out of here. But look, the final kind of word goes to you. shout out who you need to shout out, Kate. And yeah, any sponsors, plugs, anything at all, you go for it.
Yeah, so I'll definitely shout out to all of my training partners, to all of my coaches, everyone who's been supporting me from day one, all of my friends that are always on my side. Like, I know who my day ones are, and I always appreciate everyone in my life. I'm really grateful for meeting everyone, everything that happened up to this point. And like, guys, stay with me because shit is gonna get interesting very soon. In terms of sponsors, I currently don't really have any. So if anyone wants to give me any money, I'm very happy to accept. Otherwise, I'm gonna make my own, so don't worry.
You hear that, guys? Yeah, go sponsor her. Thanks, Kate.